The Enchanted Flower and the Brave Princess. Once upon a time, in a kingdom full of blooming gardens, sparkling rivers, and colorful butterflies, there lived a kind and wise young princess named Leora. She ruled the kingdom of Florindale, a land known far and wide for its peace, beauty, and blooming flowers. Princess Leora was loved by all. She wasn't just a ruler, she was a friend to every child, farmer, and animal. Each morning she would walk barefoot in her royal garden, letting the dew kiss her toes and the morning sun warm her face. She had a heart full of kindness, and she never plucked flowers because she believed they looked happiest when growing with their friends in the soil. Her garden was not just any garden, it was magical. The trees whispered old songs, the birds sang lullabies, and the flowers bloomed in colors no painter could imagine. Princess Leora had a favorite spot under a golden leaf tree where she would read books, laugh with birds, and share stories with her butterfly friends. A dark eye watches. But far beyond the peaceful borders of Florindale, deep in the cold and shadowy mountains, lived a magician named Zarvok. He was once a powerful sorcerer in the king's court, but his heart had grown jealous and dark. When he tried to use dark magic to steal the throne, he was banished by the king himself. Since that day, Zarvok watched Florindale from afar through a black crystal. What caught his eye wasn't the throne, but Princess Leora. He saw her every morning, walking alone in the garden, glowing with happiness. Her goodness and beauty angered him, yet he wanted to capture it, to trap it, and make it his forever. But how could he take her from her powerful kingdom? He couldn't fly in, nor use magic in the sacred gardens protected by old spells. And then he had a wicked idea. The trapped flower. "If I can't reach the princess," he hissed, "then I shall become what she can reach." That night, under the light of a blood-red moon, Zarvok transformed himself into a glowing, enchanted flower with deep violet petals and a golden center. He magically planted himself in the middle of Leora's garden, right near her favorite tree. The flower shimmered in a way no flower ever had. "I will wait," he whispered. "The moment she touches me, my magic will trap her soul in sleep, and I will take her to my castle of shadows." But what Zarvok didn't know was that someone had been watching him. The Fairy of the Garden. In the heart of the garden lived Flissa, a tiny garden fairy with sparkly wings and a clever mind. She had guarded the garden for hundreds of years, the morning that changed everything. The next morning, Princess Leora walked into the garden like always. The birds chirped joyfully and the sun peeked through the trees. But then, her eyes caught something new. It was the glowing violet flower. It looked like a jewel made of petals. It wasn't there yesterday, she was sure. Leora stepped closer. She could feel something strange in the air, like the flower was calling to her. Usually, she never picked flowers, but this one was so unique. She reached out, fingers trembling with curiosity. Suddenly, a butterfly flapped wildly in front of her face. It was bright pink and sparkled in the sun. "Oh, hello!" Leora smiled. But the butterfly wouldn't stop. It flew in circles around her head, landing on her hand and pulling it back. "Why are you stopping me?" she asked. The butterfly fluttered toward a bush of roses instead. Leora hesitated. Was that a warning? She turned back to the flower. Suddenly, a breeze blew. The scent from the violet flower grew strong, too strong. Her head felt light, her knees wobbled. What's happening?" and then she fainted. Captured. The moment she collapsed, the violet flower shimmered and rose into the air. It twisted and turned, becoming Zarvok, cloaked in shadows, his eyes glowing green. Finally, mine at last, he laughed, scooping up the unconscious princess and vanishing into a swirl of smoke. The garden went silent. The Castle of Shadows. Princess Leora awoke on a cold bed made of stone. The room was dark, lit only by torches with green flames. She was in a castle that looked like it hadn't been lived in for 100 years. She stood up, shivering. Where am I? The door creaked open. In came Zarvok. Welcome, princess. You are in my castle now. You will stay here forever, and your kingdom will soon forget you. Leora stood tall. You may have used trickery to bring me here, but my people won't stop looking, and I won't stop trying to leave. Zarvok only smiled. Let them try. No one can enter my castle, not even the wind. He left her, locking the doors. But Leora wasn't just a princess. She was smart, brave, and determined. And she wasn't alone. Flissa's plan. Back in the garden, Flissa the fairy knew what had happened. He took her, she cried. But I have a plan. Flissa flew to the royal tower where Princess Leora's best friends, 3 brave children named Thomas, Ella, and Ravi, were waiting for her usual morning visit. They gasped when they saw Flissa. The trials. The labyrinth of thorns. The children found themselves in a maze of tall hedges with thorns as sharp as knives. But Ella, who loved puzzles, led them through, marking paths with chalk. The river of glass. The river looked beautiful, but stepping on it was deadly. Ravi, the best jumper, used stones and vines to swing across, helping his friends one by one. The whispering forest. The trees here whispered lies to make travelers give up. She's gone forever. Turn back. It's too hard. But Thomas sang the song Princess Leora had taught them, one of hope and light. The lies faded. At last, they saw it. The Castle of Shadows, high on the cliffs. The final battle. The children sneaked inside using a secret tunnel Flissa showed them. They found Leora locked in a crystal cage, her light dimmed, her face pale. Princess, they cried. Shh, Zarvok is near, she whispered. But it was too late. Zarvok appeared in a storm of smoke. You dare enter my castle. Ravi stepped forward. You can't scare us. Zarvok laughed and raised his hands to cast a spell. But Flissa appeared and threw a tiny seed at him. It burst into vines that wrapped around Zarvok. You forgot, she shouted. This garden fairy knows your magic. But Zarvok broke the vines. Just then, Princess Leora held out a mirror she had hidden in her dress. She turned it towards Zarvok just as he cast his magic. The spell bounced back, striking Zarvok. No! He screamed, shrinking, until he turned back into a flower, a dull, colorless one, and dropped to the ground. The crystal cage shattered. Leora stepped out, glowing again. You came for me, she said, hugging her friends. Of course, said Thomas. We're a team. A new beginning. The group returned to Florendale with cheers and celebration. The people rejoiced, and the garden bloomed brighter than ever. As for Zarvok, the dull flower was placed in a sealed jar and hidden in the deepest forest, never to harm again. Princess Leora ruled for many joyful years, always surrounded by friends, magic, and the belief that bravery and love can conquer any darkness. And from that day on, she never walked alone. Moral of the story: even in the darkest times, true friends, courage, and clever thinking can light the way and defeat evil.